Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Well, it's happened again. News media and government, hand in hand, doing a cover-up. Before we get into today's upload, though, a couple links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch store to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. They're available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. The links to those audiobooks are in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken enough of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? Alright guys, a couple of weeks ago, during the Colorado, air quotes, bear attack, I made a statement that has kind of come true. I said, unfortunately, I think there are going to be more coming. The Colorado attack was, in my eyes, a definite cover-up. The perforated hole in the woman's neck region was identical to the one in Lipin, Texas, which was blamed on a mountain lion, and then not on a mountain lion. You have three different groups saying three different things on the Lipin, Texas one. Colorado, it was big news for 3 days, and then it was hush-hush. Now we are going to head to Calgary, Canada, for our next cover-up. Now I'm going to share with you the first news article. University of Calgary professor has died in a suspected bear attack. The identity of the deceased man found near Waperous Creek in early hours of May 5th has been confirmed. Dr. David Lertzman, a senior professor at the University of Calgary Haskayne School of Business, has died in what is suspected to be a bear attack. A well-known professor, Dr. Lertzman, research had a focus on sustainable development and leadership with Indigenous people. His most recent work was dedicated to better understanding and improving the social, ecological, and cross-cultural performance of the Indigenous community and energy sector. Lertzman was said to be an avid outdoorsman. Alberta Fish and Wildlife is working with the RCMP and Medical Examiner's Office to determine what kind of animal or animals were involved. The area will remain closed as officers attempt to capture the animal. Now, right off, there is nothing unusual about that article. But as the days progressed, is where it got very strange. Not only were the news articles written strangely, but the things that were said in them were also very strange. And honestly, I am seeing right between the lines on these, and I'm sure you guys will be able to as well. So this is the next news article that came out roughly 12 days after the article on the 5th. Grizzly that killed University of Calgary professor has not been found, traps removed. A grizzly bear that killed a beloved University of Calgary professor has not been located, and traps set out for it have been withdrawn, said the provincial government official. On the evening of May 4th, Dr. David Lertzman went missing after going for a run not far from his home in Waperous Creek, northwest of Calgary. Within hours, his body was found off of Moss Trail, and it was determined he had been killed by a mature female grizzly, said Ina Lucilla, spokeswoman for Alberta Justice and Solicitor General. It's not known whether the female grizzly was accompanied by her cubs, but based on evidence, a single bear was involved in the attack, Lucilla said in an email. At this point, It does not appear to be a predatory attack. Since the bear appears to have left the area, baited traps have been removed, she said. Because there has been no bear activity detected in the past couple of weeks, officers have removed the traps to mitigate the risk of inadvertently attracting other predators to the area, she said. But its possible action could still be taken against the bear, said Lucilla, though an investigation continues to determine how the fatal encounter unfolded. Each situation is handled according to its circumstances by Alberta fish and wildlife officials who use standardized guidelines on animal management, she says. The guide is a result of a collaboration among biologists, enforcement officers, and problem wildlife specialists, and it is reviewed annually and revisited, required, said Lucilla. Lertzman, 59, was a highly regarded assistant professor of environmental management and sustainable development at the University of Calgary's Haskayne School of Business. He taught graduate and undergraduate courses on leadership, sustainable development with Indigenous peoples, and ran wilderness retreat courses in Kananaskis. In a Facebook message posted on May 6, Dr. Lertzman's wife Sarah expressed no anger toward the bear, writing that she felt a spiritual connection to her husband while being comforted by friends soon after his death. We felt the bear spirit transition as well. It was as if they were wrapped around each other, she stated in a post. Lertzman said she looked for her husband soon after he had gone missing and passed the spot of the attack without detecting any signs of it. She said she later learned her husband had been charged by a bear from behind, pushed over a 300-meter embankment. The wounds were consistent with an instantaneous death, so he suffered very little. This was important for me to know, she said, adding, the support from the community since the tragedy has been heartwarming. I will share the next article, which was a day after, before I do the breakdown. I'm sure you guys are starting to see what I'm talking about during that article. Grizzly bear still on the loose after killing professor in Calgary and escapes traps. The hunt for a bear that killed a Canadian professor has been scaled back after traps failed to capture the female grizzly before she fled the area. Almost 3 weeks after Dr. Lertzman's body was found in the northwest Calgary, local government officials announced they removed baited traps as the bear was no longer in the area of the attack near Waiparis Creek. The University of Calgary professor went missing on the 4th of May after going on a run near the Moss Trail, with Alberta Justice and Solicitor General spokeswoman Ina Lucilla saying he was killed by a mature female grizzly. Because there has been no bear activity detected in the past couple of weeks, officers have removed the traps to mitigate the risk of inadvertently attracting other predators to the area, she told the National Post. While the Alberta Justice and Solicitor General's office did not immediately respond to the Independent, Miss Lucilla told the Post that action can still be taken against the bear as the investigation continued into the death. It is not known whether the female grizzly was accompanied by a cub or cubs, but based upon the evidence, a single bear was involved in the attack, Miss Lucilla said, telling the Post in an email, at this point it does not appear to be a predatory attack. Dr. Lertzman, who was 59 at the time of his death, taught environmental management and sustainable development as an assistant professor at the university's Haskayne School of Business. The school's dean, Dr. Jim DeWalt, said Mr. Lertzman had worked at the university since 2000, was a friend to all and a spiritual leader who was committed to their Indigenous connections. His wife Sarah posted a Facebook that to her beloved partner was trail running as he did twice a day to maintain a deep connection to nature. He was attacked by a bear from behind and pushed off a very high embankment, some 300 meters, and was found near a river, Miss Lertzman wrote. I had searched for him myself for 2 hours earlier in the night and walked right past that point of attack and saw no sign of him. I was looking for a man in trouble, not for a scene of something that had happened, she added. I didn't know the risk to myself in that moment, and I am truly blessed that nothing happened to me, as the officers reminded me repeatedly later that night. Miss Lucilla told the Post that the trails north of Waiparous Village would remain closed, while Alberta Fish and Wildlife officials continue to monitor the area for future signs of the bear. She said the closure would be enforced and anyone entering the area could be fined, and that people should remain calm, back away, and find somewhere to hide if encountered by a bear. While the grizzly may have posed a further danger to Ms. Lertzman during the search or other visitors to the area, she had kind words for the bear that took her husband's life. We felt the bear's spiritual transition, too. It was as if they were wrapped around each other, she wrote. So here's where we're going to break down the news media and the BS that was kind of posted. The first and very interesting part that I want to look at is the statement made. How do they know that it's a mature female grizzly? They don't. They never mention tracks, but they know it's a mature female grizzly. They don't know if there's cubs involved, right? Yet they say it is not known whether the female grizzly was accompanied by cubs, but based upon evidence, a single bear was involved in the attack. How do you know that? How do you know it's even a female grizzly? You know, and I'm not... It's just very strange. The wife is very strange as well. I mean, and I'm not making fun of anybody who truly has medium powers, you know, that can honestly see. But I mean, that's all I'm getting on that one. And I don't have medium powers, but I'm seeing it. Is she running this one? A female grizzly. Anyway, single bear involved in the attack. But yet, it was an attack, but it's not a predatory attack. Well, what kind of attack was it? It was actually a practical joke, probably, because the bear just came up behind the guy and pushed him off a cliff. Bullshit. You know? I mean, come on. This makes no sense. And then the statement, there could still be charges brought up on the bear. What in the hell is going on in Canada right now with the... I don't even know. I have no idea. And then the wife saying, I walked right by the spot where he was found and, you know, where the attack happened. I didn't see anything there. I wasn't looking for, you know, a skirmished area. I was looking for my husband. Well, if you stumbled upon a attack area, it just might kind of pop some flags up in your brain. I mean, I know I would if I saw one. You know, I'd be like, oh, wow, we're looking for this guy. Hey, it looks like something really kind of went down here. Maybe I should tell somebody. Nope. And yet she wants to hug the goddamn bear. Air quotes, bear. And it gets even crazier. So, I don't know if... Well, I do know. And I have a sneaky feeling. My theories are that the media is just, you know, writing all this crazy stuff. People are saying all this crazy stuff to confuse everybody. I mean, it's sure confusing to me. We don't know what kind of bear it is, but we set out some traps, but there's no bear taking these traps. But now we have a full-grown female grizzly with cubs or without cubs. But yeah, it was a single bear involved in the non-predatory attack. None of this makes any sense to me. I'm thinking, and this is just what I'm thinking, if it's going down the way that they're writing this poor guy is jogging along these trails, running in his New Balances, probably listening to, I don't know, Steppenwolf, Born to Be Wild. And Dogman comes out. He's by this cliff. We don't know, there's been no autopsy report, just that it's consistent with he did not suffer. So he probably sees this thing, and this is just my speculation, is petrified and jumps and dies. To me, that seems more plausible than a bear running up behind him and just pushing him. I mean, God almighty. This makes absolutely no sense. I shared this news article with my daughter, and she kind of looked at me, raised an eyebrow, and said, "That's really strange, Daddy." And I said, yes it is, child. Anyway, it gets even crazier because they removed the traps because there has been no bear activity in weeks, right? Well, 16 to 17 hours ago, Alberta woman dies in suspected bear attack northwest of Calgary, weeks after bear killed man 40 kilometers or 24 miles away. Alberta Fish and Wildlife staff are investigating a woman's death northwest of Calgary as a suspected bear attack, but say it's far too early to know if it's related to the fatal attack on a man just weeks ago and 40 kilometers away. RCMP said Wednesday that they received a call at around 7 p.m. Tuesday about a sudden death near Water Valley in Mountain Valley County, about 80 kilometers northwest of Calgary. The unit was dispatched to the area, but once officers determined that it was a possible bear attack, they contacted Alberta Fish and Wildlife. RCMP confirmed a 68-year-old woman had died, while Fish and Wildlife said the death occurred on private land southwest of Water Valley. The individual had gone for a walk on their property and was found deceased on one of their trails, Fish and Wildlife said in a written statement to CBS News. People in Water Valley area are being warned to take precaution and be vigilant while outdoors. Officers are still determining the identity of the bear, but a grizzly and a cub were seen in the vicinity of the incident. A sow is exhibiting aggressive behavior, Fish and Wildlife said. Officers have put traps up in the area. In early May, a Calgary University professor, Dr. David Lertzman, was fatally attacked by a bear in Waiparous Village area, about 40 kilometers south of Tuesday's apparent attack. Fish and Wildlife officers say they don't have any information to indicate whether the two are linked. Well, now, some couple of days later, from that article to this article, it was about a week. Now once they remove the traps, the bears are back. Oh, bears know that the traps are gone, so they're going to come back. BS on that one, and shame on you. We all know that Dogman and Sasquatch can move, and quickly. 24 miles is nothing for them. I mean, that's just, that's the kind of their, like, the circumference of their romping zone, like, it's evident that these two, in my eyes, are related. Also, another thing is, I have covered about, 2 or 3 Dogman and probably 2 or 3 Sasquatch encounters in Banff, Alberta, which is right there. I mean, we're talking right there. If I was a betting man, I'm going to bet that this woman's death is going to be blamed on the same bear, and They'll probably shoot it and say, hey, this is the bear that killed Dr. Lertzman and this woman, even though there's no, physical evidence, because neither one of them in the articles were fed upon, because they would have put that in. Also, they're not even telling you how this poor woman died. Hopefully it wasn't by a bear just coming up behind her and pushing her over a cliff. Or maybe it just came up and goosed her and scared the shit out of her. I don't even know. It makes no sense, and I'm actually appalled at the news for writing such crap. I mean, if you're gonna lie, don't make it sound like a 6th grade lie. Make it sound like an adult lie, yada, 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 yada. Not this, and this. It makes no sense, guys. No sense. And I'm sure right now you guys are reading between the lines just like I am, because this is disgusting. You've got an apex predator in the friggin' area where there is families. You need to do something, and you need not to lie to the public. You need to make them aware, and that's why I research these animal attacks, because they're going to keep happening, and they're going to cover them up just like they're doing now. And this one, I don't know, it really makes me just infuriated by the piss poor lie. I mean, God, Lipe in Texas, the one in Florida, those were at least good, maybe believable, some plausibility to them. The doctor in Georgia, hey, let's do one news article and cut it short. Come on, man. This is just terrible. Anyway, I encourage you guys to look at this yourselves and, read between the lines like I did, because it's not hard not to. Anyway, I think that was a double negative. It's not hard not to. Yeah, double negative. Anyway, just look between the lines, because it's not hard to do that. It's very easy to do, and it's all right there in black and white. With that, I'm going to bid you farewell. If you guys go out into the woods on this Memorial Day weekend, stay safe. Grab some bear spray. Oh, that's another thing. The lady there, what'd she say? Before I end this. When encountering a bear, run and hide, she said. Run and hide. No, guys. No, you don't run and hide. You remain still. You stand your ground, but slowly waving your arms. Help the bear recognize that you are a human. Help the bear believe that you're a human and that, you're not threatening it. A standing bear is usually curious. It may come close or stand on its hind legs to get a better look or smell. What to do if you encounter a bear? If you encounter a grizzly, do not run. Avoid direct eye contact. Walk away slowly if the bear is not approaching. If a bear charges, stand your ground. You cannot outrun it. Don't scream or yell. If you have pepper spray, use it. These are just common sense things. Whoever said, this lady, Ayana, whatever her name is, she should be, I don't even know, fired. Because run and find a hiding spot. Yeah, good, very good advice there, lady. Anyway, guys, if you go out this weekend, stay safe. Buy some bear spray. Don't buy the cheap crap. Buy the in-between crap. It goes there's a large variety. There's different prices. You can buy the really expensive stuff, but the middle of the line stuff is just as good. Don't go cheap thinking, hey, it's the same, because it's not. You really have to do some research on that, and research where you go if you're going somewhere this weekend. Kind of look at the area, and get familiar with what kind of animals are out there. Just don't pack your bags, jump in your car, and put yourself and your family at risk. Do some research first, okay, guys? Alright, with that, I am now going to bid you farewell, and see ya!